Hi, I'm Bengisu Tulu. I'm greeting you from the WPI campus in my background. Unfortunately, it won't be an in-person communication with you all, but I'm very excited to be part of this exciting event. I'm a professor. I'm an associate professor of information systems in the EAYEF Business School at Worcester Polytechnic Institute, and I will talk to you a little bit about low-code development platforms and opportunities associated with these interesting new tools. So let me begin by giving you a little bit of background about who I am. I have a very interdisciplinary background. I started as a math major, moved into information systems and technology, got my master's and PhD in California, and came to Massachusetts to work at Worcester Polytechnic Institute as a professor of information systems. And throughout my career, 14 years now at WPI, I taught courses associated with systems analysis and design, system development, innovating in information systems, health information technology, and business applications of machine learning. So you can see the theme around technology being a solution and technology being developed as my one of my core strengths. I also do my research in developing technologies and solutions for patients and providers to address major healthcare problems that we face today across the world. Regardless of how rich a country is, we still have problems reaching out to accessible, high quality care. And that's what I try to tackle. How can we solve these problems using technology? My research has been supported by federal funding throughout the years, totaling up to more than $8 million. I had produced a number of journal papers and conference papers, book chapters, and edited books, and as well as a patent that came out of one of these funded projects. My general motivation is being able to use information technology effectively and use it to deliver high quality care to everyone when and where they need it. Generally, till developing technology that is effective to solve a problem is where we all need to focus. Part of the reason why we have to focus on this still, after many years of working with technology, developing technology, integrating it into our lives, is that the reality of system development, despite all the novel approaches that we are using today, have been always impacted by this initial thought process of who we are developing the system for, who is the owner of the process. And when we look at it from this very caricaturized version of the system development process, which has been around for many years, we still see some resemblance to the observations we make when we look around and see how companies are developing technologies or how business users are trying to express their needs, and IT addressing these needs in a way that doesn't necessarily listen to the user or the user needs. And it's not always user-centered. So what does it mean to be user-centered? User-centeredness starts with the purpose, right? We hear different versions of this: design thinking, user-centered design. They all come back to this initial question of why do we need this product? What's the purpose of it? And who will use the product, right? We have to understand the who part and what need this product is satisfying before we can address, okay, how will the users use this product? What is it intended for? How frequently? How long? And then we can determine how much cost, effort it would take to use something like this or implement something like this, and then what are the alternatives that could take place to replace this product. Now, we are always interested in identifying the most effective solution given the user needs and how well this new solution addresses their needs. At the same time, when we do developments in the enterprise world, we want to have to prioritize sometimes how well it fits into our enterprise architecture. And because of these conflicts sometimes between what the users need and how we can satisfy them with best of breed products versus how we can satisfy the needs of the enterprise technology architecture to integrate it into that architecture in a secure and sustainable and scalable way, we have to consider a number of trade-offs. This is where low-code platforms come into place as tools that are allowing the enterprise users to be more flexible in terms of their ability to take part in system development, to express their needs more effectively, and to be part of the development team to a certain extent. So I just started mentioning something called low-code platforms, but what is low-code? What does it really mean? When we used to program applications, you would remember that we would write lines of code, right? And some of these, writing code processes and experiences changed over time as we developed more sophisticated languages, drag and drop, and UI components that can actually integrate code into the components. But in the end, it still requires highly skilled software engineers to be able to produce an application that can function properly. In the low-code world, the visual development approach is highlighted in the application development process. And by using drag and drop components, which are represented as these visual modules, and model-driven logic through a graphical user interface, we can actually develop an application without writing a single line of code. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't need any of the IT language or IT knowledge. There is also a concept called no-code platforms, where the line between low-code and no-code is a little gray. It's hard to determine which one is an accurate representation of what's really going on. But the idea is that if you use a low-code platform or a no-code platform, it allows non-technical developers or business users to create solutions to business problems quickly without having to have a technology degree in software engineering, software development. It also helps them to integrate, it also helps facilitate integration of these new products into the enterprise system to facilitate secure and traceable development opportunities to business users. Now, who are the players in this low-code platform environment, and what kind of tools do we have access to? So who are the players in low-code platform? We will see some familiar names, and we will see some very new names. And if you look at the Gartner quadrants developed for low-code platform applications, we will see Microsoft, for example, as a familiar name, Salesforce, and these are some of the leaders in established, highly visionary application platforms that are low-code. And then we see some others such as Mendix, Appian, which are more geared towards, that are born to develop low-code and are really in this realm and have been in this realm from the get-go. And we see some other ones who have interesting visions, but not necessarily have the execution ability. But and then there are some others who are in the challenger category with executive ability, such as, again, some old timers like Oracle, but not necessarily a complete vision for their low-code platform environments. So where is the opportunity for all these application development platforms that are low-code or no-code? There are a number of opportunities that enterprises can actually benefit from, but what is it in the context of this, the topic of your conference, for entrepreneurs? We have to think about, at least I have to think about entrepreneurs when I teach my students, as people who can be just building a brand new company, or who have the entrepreneurial mindset within an organization and come up with novel, interesting ideas and solutions inside the organization that generates new service lines, new product lines, or change the direction of the organization drastically with their novel ideas. So you can have if you're inside an enterprise, you can see a natural fit for this novel idea generation using a system like this, which does not conflict with the enterprise security environment, which is controlled and traceable and then scalable, and at the same time allows anybody to come up and ideate and prototype their new ideas and later on integrate them into the enterprise architecture easily. The other opportunity is in the environments where I call that are more educational, such as universities. And in the universities, what I see and observe is my students trying to produce a new service, a new product that does not exist. But they don't necessarily all have the technical skills. And it's sometimes hard to team up with the right group of people who can produce a prototype and then show it and pitch it in a way that shows a professionally developed application in front of venture capitals. But these platforms for the educational environment or even for single use provide you an opportunity to come up with your ideas and develop them to a prototype that actually runs on their existing backend infrastructure that is cloud-based, that handles most of the heavy lifting for you. So you don't have to spin off your own development infrastructure, your web servers, your database servers. You rely on what they have and what they provide you in the cloud, and you only focus on your great idea and how to develop it. And in order to develop it, you don't necessarily need to write a lot of code. So this opportunity, these kind of two-sided opportunity, is where I find local platforms to be extremely promising and why we should be integrating them into our coursework. So I actually integrated Mendix, one of the leading local platforms, into my system development and system design and development course because of this opportunity. It gives my students a number of technology skills that they might later on find useful for their career, but at the same time gives them an opportunity to be creative and to go beyond what they think they can do, because they may consider themselves not to be super technical or not to be software engineers. So university program at Mendix gives you a number of free technology, their platform for free, and also an open curriculum that you can utilize, as well as professional skill development opportunities, such as getting certifications and so on as part of the university program for free. A number of universities have already utilized this, and WPI is one of the early adapters of this program. And again, kind of to review why I integrated this into my course, my initial instinct was not that I want people to be able to create these novel ideas and turn them into applications and make money out of it. I actually had a much simpler purpose. I had a number of students who were coming into my development course, and they did have different technical backgrounds, and at the same time they had they were business school students, and they really had great business need understanding. And they would be the ones that should be creating the solutions because of this enhanced understanding of what the user needs are and how that's going to get integrated into the business processes, or how the users are going to be interacting with the applications that they develop. So when we brought in the low-code platforms, I suddenly saw a huge increase in the quality of the products they were developing, because now they didn't have to worry about spinning off their own code versioning platform, and then their database server, their web servers. Most of these are client server applications. Where are they going to run it? Who's going to actually have access to all the coding platforms, and so on and so forth? And how are they going to manage their project? All this was in various different mix and match project platforms that was making it much harder to track down. With the introduction of Mendix, everyone was using the same platform. The project management is integrated into the local platform that Mendix provides, and version control is integrated into that. The application development platform and all the servers associated with it are spinned off for you. So you don't really have to do anything to prepare other than creating a login for yourself, and your first application is ready to be developed in the next hour. This ability made me help students focus on the real user need and the business process, rather than the technical details of how to develop an application, which is more for software engineering students. And of course, I was able to get a lot of support from Mendix University program team. And a number of my students actually just ended up in positions as Mendix developers or Mendix consultants because of the experience that they had in my courses. So I hope this helps you have an overall understanding of the application development platforms and what low code means and no code means in this context, and how we integrating this into your educational experiences, even if you're doing it on the side as a student or as a person who's already working and just wanting to learn something new. Doing this type of additional learning will give you opportunities to create your own business ideas, and turn them into real functioning prototypes very quickly at no cost to you at the beginning, so that you can have something to demonstrate and seek funding for. It's a pleasure to speak with you, and feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. You can find me at bengisu@wpi.edu.